this is Ankit Verma here. Today I will talk about a very hot topic these days as we are about to enter round two, how to get into the top MBA programs. And in this quick 9-10 minutes session, I'll be talking about the best timelines to follow. What are the benefits of applying early? I know that we're recording this or we're actually posting this video in mid-October, but we'll be covering the benefits of actually applying now in round two as well, not going till round three, and how LeapQuest as an organization will help you achieve your respective endeavors. About myself, I am closely affiliated with LeapQuest as a mentor, and I was also associated with them last year. I took a package with them for 5 schools. I got through 4 of them. And in totality, I applied to 11 schools. I applied to 6 other schools myself, and my total record was for I got through 8 schools out of 11. Some of the marquee schools which I got through were NUS, NTU, IMD, ISB, IIM Lucknow, IP, MX, XRI, SMU, HKUST. So these were some of the noted ones. I got a waitlist from IMA PGPX. That was the first one I gave. So was under pressure, but yes, confidence did build up after that school. And so I got through in 2022, but I took a deferred admission for 2023, so I'll be entering NUS next year, and because of personal reasons. And so I'm currently working as a manager with Deloitte India offices of the US in the risk and financial advisory domain. Talking about the best curated tips to actually get into top MBA programs, it's not only confined to getting a good GMAT score or getting a good GRE score. It's all about presenting the best application you can to the respective school. This is what I learned from my experience, and this is what we are going to talk about also in this presentation. Well, when you actually decide, deciding first whether you want to actually do an MBA or not, that's the first step. There has to be some sort of a self-motivation component. It's not that your dad is actually telling you to do an MBA or your peers are doing an MBA, so you're actually going and doing an MBA. That's not how it works. Because if you're actually doing that way, I believe that you will be caught somewhere. The adcoms are very, very smart. They understand the intent very easily, and whatever you have actually written as part of your essays, if it's not getting properly replicated as part of your interviews, there will be a complete mismatch. So be sure first. You need to be absolutely sure first whether you want to do an MBA or not, whether you want to go for some other masters or some other technical course or executive course. I think you have to be sure about that specific component. The timing really matters, and I really vouch for this specific fact because I didn't apply in round 1. I just applied to IIM Lucknow in round 1. But if you talk about the B schools in US, which start from fall, it's very, very important to actually apply in round 1 because they have most of the schools have a limited quota of scholarships, and looking at the exorbitant fees, I think we need a specific scholarship to actually support our funding, so support our fees and expenses. So that is very, very important. About the international schools where I applied, NUS, HKUST, I think I applied in round 2, if I'm not wrong. And it's apart from the scholarship point also, I think it's not that easy to get an acceptance also, because every global B school outside India has a fixed quota of taking in Indians. They have that diversity angle which they have to play in. So say for example, in NUS, for example, there's a class of 120. They will not take more than 25 people or 30 people from India. That is the max. So even if they like you, they can waitlist you, but they will not surely give you a seat. So I think if you're in the middle of applying right now, please apply by November, I would suggest. Don't wait till Jan 23. Also, I think age is just a number. I know the average age written for most of the B schools is in the range of 25 to 30, mainly 27, 28. But believe me, guys, it doesn't matter. I'm 32 and I got through NUS and 7 other schools more, which had average ages of 28, 29. So if you're in your 30s, you're clear on your aspirations, you're clear on your entry level, your goals are actually meeting with your respective with the school's vision and what you aim to actually do as in the next 10, 15 years, and how the school will actually support you in accomplishing those goals. Bang on, please go for it. There's no need to worry, and you should not have that hesitation within you. Do a lot of research before the schools. That's very, very important. And according to me, the most reliable rankings are the Financial Times rankings. I really rely on them. I used to actually rely on them when I was shortlisting my schools. Some of the B schools don't really give out their numbers, or they don't really participate in these rankings. Say LBS, I believe, didn't participate, or I don't know. Stanford didn't participate. I'm not sure, but if some of the B schools are not participating, you can just ignore that specific fact. But according to me, if you talk about the other ranking websites like Bloomberg, QS, Bloomberg is also quite good. Economist is fine, but it's biased towards some colleges. So I think FT's metrics, the way they actually score the schools, is quite comprehensive. So my suggestion would be to follow FT and choose your top 15, 20, 30, 40 schools, whatever you're applying to. Plus, I think you have to do some research work with respect to the school you're choosing. Say, for example, I wanted to get into digital strategy post my MBA. I want to get into digital strategy post my MBA. So I really researched about the technology commercial roles which are coming in, say roles which are coming in product management, roles which are coming in digital transformation. What is the school's forte when it comes to that specific market? What is the geography angle here? So is there any second language which you have to learn? Because sometimes the jobs are really dependent on the second language. For example, you are in France, you're doing an MBA from HEC Paris. I'm not saying it's a global school. Obviously, it's a very, very good school, HEC Paris next to NCR. But it would be good, or it would be actually better if you learn French, or say up to a certain proficiency. It won't be that major in HEC Paris, but it will be very important in Germany, for example. You need to learn a language, because consulting companies in Germany, or say manufacturing companies in Germany, they prefer candidates who have, say, B2 proficiency or C1 proficiency in German. Same as with Hong Kong. I got through HKUST. I spoke to a lot of people there. They told me that Cantonese or Mandarin is one of the mandates. The languages are from a learning perspective. I think you need to know these languages, because most of your clients will be talking in these languages only. So it's very important to research about all these pointers when you're actually shortlisting your schools. Exactly. I think I just answered the specific point. I just spoke about the specific point in the third slide itself. Don't apply to too many schools. Do a risk assessment. Understand the pros and cons. Understand how that school. It's not about getting a job also end of the day. It's about how that school will actually upgrade you, or think of it as a patch management process. Say you are version 1.0, and how that school will actually help you in upgrading from version 1.0 to version 2.0. So it's very, very important to actually understand the school's forte here and how it's aligning with your end goals. And that has to be well reflected in your application, in your essays, in your scholarship essay, and your overall interviews. Again, this slide would have been more valid if I was actually talking about this in August or September, but nonetheless, I think it's very important that you start planning your essays now. And if you're applying for, I think most of the Europe schools, if I talk about, and UK schools, I think have deadlines till round 8 or round 9, and they stretch till May next year. So talking from the European schools, I think you still have a lot of time. But talking about the US schools, APAC schools, I believe, please apply at the earliest. I would say that don't delay till 2023. And it's better that you apply by November, December, because that will give you ample opportunity to actually uh, even introspect. Even if you're not getting an acceptance, you have, say, a backup in a school, say in Europe. You can back up. You can actually think about, say, going to Copenhagen Business School, for example, if you're not getting to a good APAC school here in India, say ISB or NUS. So think from those perspectives, think from those pointers, and develop the specific perspective, and then start your application process. I absolutely agree with the specific point on self-discovery and self-reflection. When I was actually, I know we have taken examples from LBS, Wharton, and why Stanford, but I will just talk about my experience over here. So when I applied to all these 11 schools, I saw that one common essay, or as part of the personal statement, or coming as part of their essay questions, was why MBA, why that specific school, what are your short-term and long-term goals. These questions sound very easy. These questions sound, I mean, if I'm, say, talking to you right now, you will say, oh yeah, this is fine. But when it actually comes to writing, say 600 words or 500 words, and some schools will actually ask you to squeeze all these pointers within 250 words or 300 words. That's the toughest thing you can do. How can you express on all these pointers within such a word limit? So the process, that's what I'm saying. So I think I would actually rate these pointers more than the GMAT and GRE. You have to have that vision, and you have to actually introspect properly and ask yourself on why do you actually need to do an MBA. Simple. Where are you currently? What you want to do, and how that particular bridge or how that specific gap has to be bridged with the respect of a B school, and why that specific B school only. So a lot of research has to be done before you even consult a specific admissions consultant, I would say that. And some groundwork has to be done. And once you actually enroll, then a good brainstorming can be done with respect to the schools. They can give you their opinions with whatever students they have interacted with, basis which you can actually take the path forward. So self-discovery is actually the goal. What's right for you at the end of the day. You need to stand out. It's very, very important, because if you're actually applying from India, the profiles are very common. Say an Indian IT male engineer, and someone who's actually working in the ITS sector. So these are very, very common profiles. And if you actually stand out from this specific profile, you are actually adding to diversity. In fact, if I talk about myself, when I was apprehensive, because I'm working in technology risk consulting, I'm part of Deloitte EY, which actually houses a lot of candidates who aim for their MBAs and all. But I played on consulting. I played on technology risk consulting, which is a very niche area. So what I'm exactly doing over there into information security, cyber security. So you can actually, even if you're actually working in an ITS profile, you need to actually talk about a specific technology or talk about a specific solution which is very, very new in the market. How are you actually coming out of your essay, or what additional point are you actually adding as part of your application? So that gets highlighted in a very that gets highlighted in a very loud way if you ask my opinion. So again, this is part of self-discovery only. Do a lot of introspection and think what additional you're actually getting on the table. I remember the movie 21. I was watching it, and I think he was applying for Harvard Medical School, and the AdCom was actually asking him, tell me something which dazzles you, or tell me something which can actually come out of the CV and can mesmerize the AdCom in some way. So you have to think about that specific pointer. And even if it's not there, I don't feel that, I don't believe the very fact that that specific pointer won't be there in your application. There is something which you would have done which stands out. So please think about it. Whether it can be also about The extracurriculars, what you're doing, some leadership event you have actually organized in your college or school, um, some retreat activity what you have done. You're a part of the Toastmasters club. I'm just giving you an example. I'm just giving you specific examples. You have to build your story around these pointers. Again, covered as part of the pointers, but be very, very careful when you're actually applying for round 3 or round 4. I don't personally recommend for US round 3, round 4. Europe, still you can actually apply after round 3, round 4 because the deadlines go to round 9. HEC Paris goes to round 9. INSEAD, not sure, round 4, but I don't recommend applying to round 3 in INSEAD also. The fees is whoopingly high, it's exorbitantly high, so I would suggest that you apply before. And now that only 2 months are left, I would suggest that apply in the next 2 months. You have, I think, even if you haven't given GMAT, GRE, my suggestion would be to actually start an application process in the parallel. You can actually study. You can actually give your 100% in your respective sanitized test, whatever you're taking, and let's say LeapQuest, for example, if you're enrolling with LeapQuest, let them actually take the brunt of having your application ready. Because if you're actually aiming to sit in the 2023 cycle, it's very important to get your applications ready by November end or December. And trust me, guys, I know people who have a GMAT of 770 also and they get a reject. I know people with a 610 GMAT also and they get an acceptance. So it's all application dependent. GMAT, GRE is just a checkpoint. It is just the way a checklist is designed or the way the respective protocols are laid out. It is just that. According to me, my personal experience, it doesn't hold more than 15-20% weightage, not more than that. Even if you have a 680 GMAT, you are well on the paper to actually apply to very good schools. Take my word on that. LORs is a very important topic according to me, and you should actually, if you're, according to me, you should have two recommenders or referees from different companies or from different setups. That's my suggestion, but it's not a hard bent rule. You can have both of them from the same organization or company. For example, I chose one of them was from my current organization, and one of them was from my former organization. So it actually gives it a flavor that yes, this person has networked and has actually interacted with a certain number of people. So it gives a good impression. But again, this depends. I'm not. It can also happen that you have actually worked in the same company for say n number of years. So it's absolutely fine. That's fine. But if you can get a recommendation, say from your client, or and one from your reporting manager, that will also do wonders. Say if you're an Indian and if you can actually get a recommendation from your client who's actually sitting out of US and one from say your reporting manager in India, great, wonderful. B schools love it. But again, if both the recommenders are from the same company, both are one is a reporting manager, one is a project manager, that is also fine. All depends on how they pen your respective essays. Pen your respective pen the respective answers to the respective questions. That is very, very important. And how they rate you. Plus, I would suggest that you should have this discussion with them before you're applying, such that they have a good amount of time to actually fill in your essays and fill in the answers to the questions. And you should actually give them some sort of a slide or some sort of a Word document where you're highlighting all your achievements, such that they can talk about it when they're replying to the respective questions. So that's very, very important. MBA admission interviews are, I would say, are a reflection of your CV and your essays, what you've written, and whatever additional achievements or job responsibilities you have filled in. Simple. They will just, like how you actually peel an onion, they will just ask you questions. They will start asking you questions, and the way you respond, they'll pick up some keywords from those questions, from those answers, and frame another question. So the more you practice, it's all practice. It's all practice. And be true to yourself when you're writing your essays. It should not be that your consultant or someone you're taking help from is writing your essays and obviously he has taken the respective groundwork from you, but you're not well aware of the same, and he's just writing your essays. But I mean, he's framing the essays, but I think you have to be very, very confident on what exactly is getting put in as part of your application. So the interviews are completely dependent on that. And I think after the MBA, after the interviews, I think even if you're not getting through, I think it's not a question of getting disheartened. Might be that this is not the correct school for you. Might be that the schools might be that your post MBA goals are not well aligning with the school's vision. Might be that the school might not be that helpful to you after your graduation. A lot of things. So I think there's no need of getting disheartened. You have to actually, that's why you have to choose the right schools and apply. So the pre-application process is very important. But even after the post-application process, after applying to a specific school, even if you're not getting through, I think don't give hope. Search for more schools. There are a lot of schools currently globally who cater to the respective work domains and the respective aspirations. So just don't give up. That's what I'm saying. LeapQuest as of it will apart from the initial background work, what you have to do, they will help you in the university selection. They will do a brainstorming exercise uh, with respect to what you're currently doing, where you are currently, and which school you're aiming for. Why you aiming that specific school? So first they will extract the information from you, and then they will give their respective suggestions basis your CV editing, which they have done previously, and they'll give you a good list. They do give you a good list, and also I think they have respective mentors from different colleges. I remember I think I was mentored by one of their ex candidates. I think who was studying in who was a pass out from INSEAD. So he did really guide me very well. The application strategy that again involves the research work around pointers such as whether you had any challenges in your work profile, how did you deal with them, the STAR methodology, what was the situation, what was the task, what was the action which you took, and how it was actually replicated throughout the entire process, and what was the result end of the day. So that particular strategy will be actually made with that reference. You will actually be asked to actually draft your essays, and yes, they have proper syntax and formats for different application essays. Resume editing and strategy, I just told you that every pointer what you first of all, it's a one-page CV, one-page resume. So it's very important that you quantify your achievements and credentials in a way that are present, are readable to the adcom. I would say that such an adcom can actually clearly see that yes, um, this particular person has worked in this particular project, which had a net value of this much, and this helped, say, n number of stakeholders. So the more you quantify, the better for you. Don't write a lot of technical jargon. So resume building or CV building is another service which they will be providing as part of their package. Essays and SOP strategy is on the respective schools, their respective essays, the brainstorming, research work, essay editing, that is part of this. LOR guidance, again, the question breakdown, they will help you in the question breakdown on how your referees and recommenders have to actually answer the respective questions. What all can you actually ask them to include as part of your LORs with respect to the school? Say, for example, ISB, for example, is a consulting school. So can you write more on the client stakeholder relationships and how you actually did one specific project? So that is very, very helpful. Interview preparation, again, comes as part of the application strategy, but it's a different game altogether. Apart from the essays, there's a different brainstorming session. There are a lot of apart from some schools, apart from the essays and how you have actually written your application, they also question you on the current affairs which are there in the market right now. Any business news which is actually going on, say 5G rollout. I mean, they can ask you anything. So some of the Indian schools also ask you, and I think I was asked when I was actually interviewing for HQST, why Hong Kong, and they asked me some technology related question in Hong Kong. I mean, how do you rate Hong Kong as a smart city? So when you're actually applying or when you're actually getting shortlisted for that specific school, just read about the specific city and read about the specific university, and actually this will be coming as part of the interview preparation only. The pointers which you have to prepare as part of that school and as part of that specific program. Well, that's the end of the presentation. Thank you so much, and I look forward to interact with you soon. Uh, Thank you so much again, and have a lovely day. Bye bye.